Even though mini-sets have become an essential part of Hearthstone, the ability to skip them while preserving your resources always leaves room for debate and speculation. Today, my fellow mathematicians and I will explore the ways to get extra value out of mini-sets, which are now more profitable than ever before. We'll also briefly review the new legendary cards to help you decide whether to buy the set, and determine which types of players should skip it entirely, possibly in favor of Arena.
Time to rock and roll!
Hello my friends. My name is Bot Mathematician and this is Holomancer.
Also, Chief Investigative Reporter Dora joined us this evening.
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop. Guys, ever since the Embers of the World Tree mini-set was announced, our editorial inbox has once again been flooded with questions about whether buying it is worth it. Players want to squeeze the maximum value out of their resources. And personally, with a major arena rework on the horizon, I want to understand where it's best to invest my resources, arena tickets or the mini-set.
This is a great topic, Dora. Let's start with the fact that the developers seem to be returning to the original philosophy of mini-sets. Most likely, we won't get a radically new meta like we did with Heroes of StarCraft. Instead, we are expecting upgrades and reinforcements for existing archetypes.
This means mini-sets are once again becoming optional offers. It's worth mentioning that mini-sets are effectively free, as players have already received enough gold to purchase them. Since the introduction of the rewards track, the total amount of gold rewarded was proportionally increased to account for the additional cards introduced in mini-sets. In practice, regular players who complete quests at least once every 3 days end up earning nearly 2,000 more gold over the course of an expansion phase than they did before. Yet, the debates about whether it's worth buying mini-sets still persist.
And the reason for that is choice, the option to spend that increased gold on other, more impactful things. On top of that, there are specific scenarios where players can skip the mini-set almost entirely and still acquire most of the cards for free.
A key feature of Hearthstone's economy has always been its incredible flexibility, which allows players to extract extra value by taking advantage of its systems. Mini-sets fit this ideology perfectly.
Common and rare cards make up nearly 90% of a mini-set, including collectible duplicates. All of them can be acquired completely for free, automatically. This is made possible by the duplicate protection system. A player who already owns all common and rare cards from Emerald Dream Packs will, after the mini-set's release, begin receiving new low-rarity cards automatically when opening packs. This is what makes the mini-set an optional purchase. Moreover, thanks to the substantial increase in relevant packs awarded through the progression system, Blizzard has created a loophole that allows players to obtain the vast majority of mini-set cards for free.
All you need to do is hold on to a few packs earned from ranked play, tavern brawls, or events, and open them after the mini-set is released. This significantly boosts the value of packs, which otherwise decline in usefulness as your collection grows. In total, you'll need to open about 30 packs to collect all new common and rare cards. This will be much easier if you've prepared even slightly in advance. After the mini-set launches, Blizzard will continue rewarding you with relevant packs throughout the expansion phase, so you'll likely complete the collection by the end of the cycle.
In addition, Arena is an excellent way to multiply your resources. With a major rework for the mode coming soon, you might be tempted to invest your gold there instead of buying the mini-set, and we decided to test that option.
So, imagine you buy arena tickets, and your average win rate is 5 wins per run, which means you'll realistically average between 3 and 7 wins, which is achievable for experienced players. In this case, your 2,000 gold turns into 31 runs and 31 packs as rewards, assuming you keep reinvesting your winnings into more arena runs. As a small bonus, you'll also earn around 1,000 dust. This way, you'll almost certainly find all the low-rarity mini-set cards in the packs you open, and possibly even some epic cards, especially if your collection for the current expansion is nearly complete. These calculations are based on the current arena reward structure. We don't know how it will change after the upcoming overhaul, but we doubt the rewards will become significantly more generous. That said, there are 2 more important caveats. It will take a significant amount of time, the outcome is not guaranteed, and, perhaps most crucially, only 4% of players in the last season averaged 5 wins per run.
Accumulating free packs and purchasing arena tickets can be a solid alternative to buying the mini-set. These strategies allow you to collect all the low-rarity cards, but in most cases, they won't reliably get you the high-rarity ones, especially the legendary cards. For players with limited resources, the key factor in deciding whether to buy the mini set is the usefulness of its high-rarity cards.
Let's take a quick look at each of them. This time around, the value of the mini set has slightly increased, as we're getting 2 epic cards instead of 1.
Sigil of Cinder is essentially a modified version of Avenging Wrath, which dealt similar damage back in classic Hearthstone but cost significantly more mana. I like that the low cost for such a powerful effect is balanced by the delayed activation. Unfortunately, the Sigil mechanic doesn't allow your opponent to interact with the trigger. The only counterplay is to increase the number of available targets to reduce the chance of face damage. All in all, it's a strong but situational card that has clear potential in fel-based strategies.
Zakali Flameancer is closely related to Emperor Tharisan, but its effect aligns more with traditional design principles than its predecessor. First and foremost, this is a tricky card to activate. It forces you to manage your hand before you even get the chance to trigger the effect. The more cards you have, the harder it is to make it work, and that increases the risk of the card being dead in your hand. It's also worth noting that Rogue can take additional advantage of this type of card through Shadow Step.
Ultimately, we are looking at an incredibly powerful mana cheat effect with a high activation barrier. I really like this card from a design perspective, and players will definitely experiment with ways to make it work. It has become somewhat of a tradition that the epic card from a mini set doesn't see competitive play, but this time we got 2 cards with real potential.
The legendary cards are even more intriguing. The biggest buzz surrounds Fyrakk the Blazing. This card is another Yogg-Saron style hybrid, with similar limits to Rune of the Archmage. Essentially, this is another turnaround tool, a type of effect whose influence has significantly declined since the last rotation. The card can wipe out an opponent's board advantage, create a threat thanks to fire damage immunity, generate resources, and potentially deal lethal damage. It simply does too much, although its outcomes are unpredictable. With the reduced presence of swing and turnaround mechanics, its neutral nature, and most importantly, its effect triggering without any requirements, this card has the potential to become an auto-include in a wide variety of strategies. Personally, we're not fans of this kind of design, though we understand that such cards are the embodiment of fun for many players. We believe turnaround cards carry hidden dangers and contribute to power creep. That's why we consider the release of the Titans a major mistake, even though the community was thrilled. We talked about this in one of our previous videos.
Tindral Sage Swift, at first glance, follows more classical design principles. It can trigger a powerful AoE effect, but the activation isn't guaranteed, especially if the opponent chooses to ignore it. This is a fantastic concept. In our previous video, we discussed classical Hearthstone cards that became iconic, and they all shared a similar logic: high situational impact and often the ability for the opponent to influence the outcome. I really love that approach. The effect itself is powerful, but I'm not sure the activation condition will make it competitive in today's environment, especially when most modern cards offer guaranteed value.
That said, the card could become dangerous if used within certain imbalanced synergies, such as Death Rattle Demon Hunter. It may have been designed for exactly that purpose.
Now onto the class cards. Druid's New Location, Amirdrassil, for just 4 mana, summons 3 random minions, grants 6 armor, draws 6 cards, and refreshes 6 mana crystals. But all of this happens gradually over the next 5 turns at minimum. Its first use won't give you an immediate advantage, but the combination of small effects fully compensates the initial mana investment. Most importantly, it offers flexibility and multitasking. Subsequent activations will be pure value, and in total, you'll get about 5 times your investment back. Aside from the delayed payoff, the card has no real downside, which gives it strong potential to find a home in most Druid archetypes. Considering the variety and volume of its effects, this is arguably the most valuable card in Standard right now. Now compare the new Druid location to the older one. Hiking Trail, for 3 mana, allows you to discover 3 cards over time, and its special effect creates opportunities for faster value extraction. These 2 cards have a massive gap in power and utility. They feel like they belong to entirely different universes.
And finally, we have Volkoros. This card is essentially a heavily downgraded version of Lord Marogr, although it still incorporates some elements of swing mechanics. Unlike Lord Marogr, who could eliminate multiple enemy threats and establish a board of his own, Volkoros can only neutralize a single threat and summon a single minion in return. Even that limited effect depends on whether you've accumulated a large enough number of corpses. The one upside is that you can choose how many corpses to spend. The downside is the lack of any additional synergy or bonus for using a large amount of corpses. The card might be situationally useful in extremely long control matchups where you end up with more than 30 unused corpses near the end of the game. But even then, you might prefer to discover it rather than include it in your deck. In most other matchups, players will likely prefer to use corpses for more impactful effects.
Based on this quick card overview, here are a few subjective recommendations. If you're a Demon Hunter fan, the new Epic Sigil alone may be a good enough reason to buy the mini set.
In addition to other benefits, you'll also get a chance to experiment with Tindril Sageswift and Deathrattle strategies. If you're in the Druid camp, then the new location is, in our opinion, a strong justification for picking up the mini set. And finally, if you enjoy Yogg Saron style effects, then you should absolutely consider buying this set to ensure you get Fyrakk the Blazing, his spiritual successor. Keep in mind, if even one of the 4 high-rarity cards seems valuable to you, buying the mini set is usually worth it. If none of them impress you, feel free to skip it and allocate your resources elsewhere, where they might serve you better.
Guys, it's pretty clear where the high-rarity cards stand. Let's talk about the other benefits of purchasing the mini set. What should those who are on the fence keep in mind?
Great question, Dora. Let's start with the cost. The best value comes from buying the mini set with real money, especially for players who don't typically spend on more expensive bundles. $15 is the minimum amount you can spend in the game to get premium resources.
If you can afford it, buying the mini set for real money can be a reasonable regular option. It's both a way to support the game and a means to slightly expand your collection. Now, let's look at the numbers. The addition of a second epic card has made the deal even better. The price hasn't changed, but for $15, you now get 187 dust per dollar if you disenchant everything. Compared to the traditional benchmark of 176 dust per dollar, your benefit increases by 6%. From a collection standpoint, each dollar you invest now saves you 832 dust, compared to crafting every card individually. The value of the golden mini set has also slightly increased. If you're buying it purely for dust conversion, you'll now get 183 dust per dollar. Here's a key rule. If any shop offer provides more than 100 dust per dollar, it's already considered a good deal in terms of crafting value. This chart clearly shows how tightly balanced the in-game economy is. The developers have made sure that players can't magically break the system or gain more than intended.
Overall, the golden mini set is a very solid purchase, but primarily if you're building a golden card collection or if you're in serious need of crafting resources. Buying the mini set with gold is still a good deal, but if you pay with real money, you'll receive significantly more value.
Let's compare the value of the golden mini set and the mega pre-purchase bundle in terms of expanding your gameplay options. The golden mini set is $10 cheaper and yields nearly 13,000 dust, enough to craft 8 legendary cards.
In contrast, the $80 mega bundle gives you a full set of common and rare cards, around 16 random epics, and nearly 8 random legendary cards. Most importantly, it grants about 6,500 dust worth of extra copies and golden cards for crafting. From a collection building perspective, the Mega Bundle provides significantly more content. But if your main goal is access to specific cards, the Golden Mini Set gives you a huge amount of dust for direct crafting, which can be more useful in certain situations.
Your personal benefit will ultimately depend on the state of your collection. We simply ran the numbers and reviewed the alternatives to this purchase. If you're a regular player with a broad card collection and good resource management habits, then there's virtually no reason to skip the mini set. On the other hand, if you're short on resources and key cards, and if the new legendary cards didn't impress you, then skipping the purchase might be a wise choice.
Dear viewers, what do you think?
Do the new legendary cards justify buying the mini set? Which ones do you think could end up being useful?
Let us know your thoughts below and join the polls in your community tab. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to support our content and stay updated.
Traditionally, we want to express our boundless gratitude to our sponsors.
Dear friends, your help is invaluable. We will be grateful for any support.
Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for spending this time with us. We really hope that we will have the opportunity to get in touch in the next video.
Take care of yourself.
And never give up.
Job's done.